Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining today. My name is Matt O'Connell, and you are tuning in to Spoken Truth Revolution. Really appreciate you joining today. There's a lot to cover, but the first thing I want to mention and to honor those who gave their lives defending freedom, the 12 or 13 service men and women who died in Afghanistan. Thank you for your service. We honor you. And we pray for your families and anyone who's affected by this directly. We just want to show appreciation for everything that you do in laying your life down for our freedom here in the U.S. and abroad. And so obviously we have the Afghan situation. I've been wanting to get this particular episode out. I've been testing some new technology, so it took me a bit of time. I usually like to record and deliver by Fridays, every Friday, but just one of those things. But it is Monday, August 30th, and the Afghan situation in Kabul is starting to heighten up even more. It's been a bit more hostile based on some reports that I've read and articles I've read as well. But I think when we look at the situation overall, I think it's hard to comprehend what was in the mind, if anything, was in the mind of the President of the United States when making the decisions that he has made thus far. It's surprising, it's confusing, it's concerning. And I think for me, I feel all of those things in addition to feeling a sense of disregard of not just the soldiers, but just the American people. Just the American people. We have a president who has pulled troops out before the citizens out of Afghanistan, along with the allies. We have a president who refused to answer questions from the press. We have a president who is collaborating with a terrorist group, remember, who brought down the Twin Towers. We have a president who put billions of dollars worth of military equipment into terrorist hands. We have a president who has stranded U.S. citizens, Afghan allies, without any promise to get them home. We have a president who gave a list of names of U.S. citizens and Afghan allies to Taliban terrorists. We have a president who is incompetent and doesn't care for his people. You can talk a big game. Anyone can talk a big game, but when it all boils down to it, what do your actions speak? What do your actions speak? Do your actions speak louder than the words that you portray, that you say? Because it's one thing to say something, it's another thing to actually do something. And right now, I have a sense that I'm not alone in feeling completely abandoned by my government and my president, our president. Joe Biden is our president, but let us not forget that we have a God who never forgets us, who never turns his back on us. He turned his back on his son Jesus on the cross so that he would never turn his back and forsake us as he did with his son Jesus on the cross. Jesus took that punishment for us. He was forsaken by the Father in heaven so that we would never be forsaken. So even though our government and other people in this life may forsake us, remember always God will never forsake us, ever. So keep your eyes on God as we continue to talk about these hard things, because I feel the sense I feel within the past week and a half or so is similar to the feeling I had when watching the Twin Towers fell, where I felt that our country was vulnerable, was in a crossroads of trying to understand who we were. And I feel that there are a lot of similarities with what I felt back then in 2001, when 9/11 occurred, to what's happening right now. And we are, as a nation, as you can see with all the different ideologies, trying to battle out who we are as a nation. Can a man become a woman? Is there truly systematic racism or not? And we have these competing ideas, and we need to continue to stand firm with our conviction and be led by objectivity and data. Even if the data disagrees with our opinion, that's okay. That's how we grow as human beings. But again, I feel a sense of confusion, feeling concern and disregard for this administration. And a couple things to note. Half a dozen times, probably more at this point, Biden didn't take any reporter questions. When reporters asked how the U.S. citizens were getting to Kabul airport, the Biden administration said they are trusting the Taliban forces for safe passage for those U.S. citizens to get to Kabul airport. So there's around 1,500 at this point in time. They may be a little less, give or take. So last report I read was from Washington Post, was that there are about 1,500 U.S. citizens still in Afghanistan, stranded. Even though the Psaki and the Biden administration, they're saying, no, they're not stranded. No, they're stranded. If you haven't gotten them yet, they're stranded. They're in a country that is now controlled by a terrorist organization in which you have, meaning the Biden administration, you have allowed the Taliban terrorists to provide airport security, the same Taliban terrorists who infiltrated U.S. airport security to fly planes into the Twin Towers. You cannot, this is not a parody site, folks. This is real life. This is what has happened. These are the people, the Taliban, these are the people that attacked our nation 20 years ago, almost to the day. It's August 30th. This upcoming September 11th is going to be the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I remember the day. I remember the towers falling. It was horrific, and seeing people trying to escape with their lives, with their children, throwing their babies over barbed wire fences, clinging on to C-17 air jets to hopefully, in such a desperate move, to get out of a country that is now controlled by terrorists, which, according to those people, is worth taking the chance holding on to the wings of a C-17 than to be in the hands of the Taliban. Think of that for just a second. I have a question. Why is Biden coordinating with the Taliban for safe passage of Americans? Why, in CSNBC, there's an article that highlights this particular fact. The U.S. is close coordination with the Taliban as it works to evacuate tens of thousands of people from Kabul airport before August 31st. Like, just think of this for a second. Like, if you were born before 1995, you probably have vivid memories of the Twin Towers falling, watching it on the news, talking about it with your teachers in your classrooms, seeing it on the news. I remember the day I was in Miss Hayden's class, math class, around 10 a.m., and we went in there, and not math class, it was history. And she had the old school cart with the TV, not the flat screen, the old school TVs on it. And she was watching the Twin Towers burning. I didn't understand what was going on at the time I walked in. But these are the same people that the Biden administration, the most powerful government in the world, is now coordinating with this terrorist group to get these people out, to get American citizens out. It makes no sense, but actually it kind of makes sense. When you are an administration that thinks a man can be a woman, that illogical nonsense, you are bound to make more illogical decisions in your course of being in office. That's just the name of the game. If I've seen reports saying, like, Biden is not thinking, like, what he's saying is not realistic. It's not reality. I've been seeing a bunch of headlines. No kidding. The conservative movement has been saying that for almost now 6 years, ever since this whole transgender and critical race theory. And now we're seeing it in real life. The implications when you make illogical decisions based not on objectivity, but subjectivity, based on feelings and not facts. This is what happens. This is real world consequences when you make illogical decisions and you don't put truth and logic at the forefront of your minds to try to make the appropriate decisions, because otherwise it will cost people's lives, as what we're seeing in Afghanistan. Sorry, I'm fired up today because this is what we're seeing in Afghanistan is now kind of like it's this movement of feelings over facts, and trust your feelings, be who you want to be, and if you're a man you can be a woman, if you're black you can accuse anyone of being white privileged and the system's against you, blah blah blah. Listen, we need to come back to reality and reason and hash this out together and look at the data, because the data promotes truth, the data promotes objectivity, and the data helps us to be logical individuals. And without logic, we cannot make any decision that will benefit anybody. Rant over. And why does Biden have a hard-nosed timeline to be out by August 31st, 2021? That's tomorrow, folks. Oh, we got to get everybody out. Like, first things first, I didn't mention this because everyone's mentioned it. Why pull, like, the initial thing? He's caused this chaos. He's blamed the chaos on Trump. Oh, Trump said we have to make sure we're out of, Afghanistan by May. What does it matter? What does your word matter to a terrorist? Nothing. They don't care what you say. They just want to kill you. They chant death to America. They want to kill people. They want to rape women and children. And they want to kill anybody that doesn't bow their knee to Allah and their political agenda. And it is a political agenda. AP reports Biden holds to Kabul August 31st deadline despite criticism. So U.S. President Joe Biden declared Tuesday he is sticking to his August 31 deadline for completing a risky airlift of Americans, endangered Afghans, and others seeking to escape Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Why are you neglecting first off, you're giving your promise to the Taliban, but you're breaking your promise to U.S. citizens and Afghan allies that have helped us out as a nation for 20 years being over there to defeat a terrorist country who was harboring terrorists and supporting terrorism and launching terrorism out throughout the world. Why are you giving them your promise, the Taliban, and not giving your promise to the American people to make sure we are not leaving Afghanistan? I don't care how long it takes. I don't care what it takes, but we are not leaving Afghanistan until we get every U.S. citizen out of there, every Afghan ally out of there. So move out of the way, Taliban, because we're coming in. We're coming in. You don't hear that type of language. We're talking about terrorists. We're talking about people who do not believe in human rights, who do not believe in free speech, who do not believe in the inalienable rights of every human being to have the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness bestowed upon them by their creator. These people, if they can't fall under that type of principle, they're out to get you. They're out to kill you. So why are we giving our promise and our word to terrorists and not to the American people? The Taliban gets $28 billion of U.S. weapons and military vehicles that you paid for, and you get COVID restrictions. You get critical race theory, transgender theory, and indoctrination to your kids. And you also get put on the DHS terrorist watch list. How do you like that? The terrorists get money, weapons, freedom, liberty, the ability to take over a country, and you get ostracized, you get silenced, you get more COVID restrictions, you get your business closed down, you get your kids wearing masks when the masks aren't scientifically proven. Only vaccines are scientifically proven to help those who are vulnerable, where kids have a 99.997 or 999% chance of surviving COVID if they get COVID, but you get put on a DHS terrorist watch list if you even say such things. We need to continue to step up, and we need to continue to speak out, because this government is not acting logically. It's almost as if they're causing this chaos intentionally in the Middle East for whatever purpose that we are unaware of, that is confidential, whatever the case may be. But a 2-year-old, an elementary school student, could have made a better decision on the extraction of U.S. citizens first, then the troops after, out of Afghanistan. And I wonder what would have happened. I suppose we'll never really know what would have happened because we've already made this decision. But I bet if, let's say hypothetically, if the Biden administration said, okay, first we need to pull out the U.S. citizens and the Afghan allies first, and then we'll take the troops out second, right? Let's just and let's say things were messy there, right? I think people would understand a bit better. Like, okay, like that line of thinking made sense, and it's it's just one of those things. Afghanistan in the Middle East, it's a hard area, hard-nosed people there, and there's terrorist groups everywhere. It's just it's a hard area, and yeah, maybe I think most of us would agree we wanted to get out of Afghanistan, but it was such an illogical decision. That's why everyone is ticked off, and you should be ticked off. We shouldn't be playing party politics here. We shouldn't be saying, oh, well, I voted for Biden and I have to support everything he does. No, this was a wrong decision from the get-go. And it seems like everything that happens after that, it's wrong. But, we'll keep you posted on what happens next. But listen, even though this administration, you feel abandoned, you feel forsaken by this administration, by this government, you have inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And you have a God that is looking out for you, but you need to surrender your life to Jesus, because if we don't have the Lord in our life, what do we have? A lot of people, they trust the government to protect them, to give them security, but we're realizing more and more every single day that we cannot rely on that. So keep your head up, surrender your life to God, and keep praying for these people, because they truly, truly need it. I hope you all have a great day. Take care, and God bless. Bye-bye now.